What's up, bikers? I'm Robert. This is the B1KER Bar Podcast, episode 125. I know it's been a little while. I went on vacation. It was really fun. That's the gist of it right now. I literally got off the plane less than 12 hours ago. And so here we are doing a little episode. Like I said last episode, I'm doing these a little bit more sporadically. So I reached out to Nate before my vacation, and he was interested in getting on. And here we are. This is what we got going on. So those of you joining us live, really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Somewhere along the line, if you want to see more of this and you haven't subscribed, that'd be great. If you would like to help the channel, swing by Patreon. Pretty sure most of you guys know how Patreon works, but if you don't, basically you throw a little money at me and I dance like a monkey, or you help with camera gear, maybe put some beer in the beer fridge. All of those things, they definitely help out. I really appreciate everybody that's on there. It means a lot. It really keeps the channel going. And well, that's that. So nonetheless, I am running out of things to little. You guys know what I talk about here at the beginning, and I'm really excited to talk to Nate. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him back onto the stream. What's up, Nate? How's it going?
Oh, hey! I was just watching you over here on my phone, so it's kind of fun.
There you go.
Muted. Yeah, how's it going, Robert?
Dude, like I said in the intro there, man, literally just got off the plane. Like I was telling you beforehand. The jet. Oh my God, dude, our trip back. You know, sometimes you buy tickets and you don't really pay attention to what they say. I definitely did that when I was booking this trip. And on the way there, we had a +1 right on the day, and I was like, it's no big deal. You know, we'll sleep on the plane. And then on the way back, it was a +1 as well, but I didn't look at the actual times. So we had this layover from Jamaica to Houston, and then we were in Houston for like, I don't know, 6 hours or something like that. Then we flew to Denver, and we had like a 9-hour like layover in Denver. That's why there was a +1. So we really got there at like just shy of midnight their time. Decided we were going to get a hotel like down the street. Jammed out of the airport, slept for a couple hours, got back, and made it.
Yeah, it's hard trying to sleep at an airport, right?
Yeah, dude, I'm too old for that. My daughter and her friend was with us. They're 20, and they were like, "Oh, well, I mean, we don't have to get a room." I'm like, you know what? Check this out. When I was 20, I would have 100% slept on the floor in the airport, but now I'm almost 45, and I can afford a hotel, and my body won't hang with that like no bed thing. So.
Dude, well, hold on. Hold the phone real fast. You're 45? I would have never thought that.
I'll be 45 in August. So I'm not there yet.
I'm glad to hear you're in the 40s club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
How old did you think I was? I was hoping you were.
I don't know. Like I was gonna go. I guess early 40s is what I would have said. But
right on.
This is just me flattering you to start the show off. You know.
Right there you go, man. How about you?
49. I'll be 49 actually on Sunday. So
I thought you were closer to me too. So there you go. We'll throw the compliments back and forth.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll take it.
Man, like I said, I wrote the little intro for the show, and I was saying there that every time I bump into you at one of the festivals, whatever you call it, Sea Otter or Sedona or whatever, we always have a great conversation. So it really, I was really stoked whenever I reached out to you about getting on the show, and you were down to come back on. It's been a long time since you were on here.
It's funny. Yeah. I actually remember it really well, Robert, because I had to make sure I felt like I needed to have a beer in my hand for the show. And that just sticks out to me for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah,
that was still feel that way.
That was, yeah, I do. I brought one.
one?
Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go grab one here in a second.
Yeah, we can pause, do a commercial break or something for you to go get one. But
I'll just ask you a question. A beer fridge is all like 3 feet away. Whenever I set this whole system up,
I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, so it's cool to be back on, and little stuff.
A lot has changed in that time, man.
Yeah. It feels the same, but I know it's different. So it's just just an evolution.
I'm going to ask you some stuff that's probably on the old one, but as my lady would say, like, I don't remember shit very well. So.
Yeah.
What was it that inspired you to start an apparel company, man?
Stupidity, lack of an understanding of what it takes to actually do this. That was probably the biggest thing. No, just boredom with my last job.
Yeah.
So a buddy and I were sitting at a cross country race. I used to race cross country quite a bit. That was a lifetime ago, it feels like. But yeah, we were at a race. We were waiting for the podiums to start and just kind of looking around, and everybody's putting on Quicksilver, Hurley, Ruka, whatever. We're in San Diego, so a lot of surf t-shirts were going on.
Right.
And we just kind of looked at each other and said, I wonder what it would take to like actually make a surf feeling lifestyle brand for mountain bikers. Cause we all cross over, we do surf, we do skate, we do snow, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it was just honestly a kind of a random idea that we had to, So yeah, basically I went out and built a couple of t-shirts, worked with a designer locally here in Encinitas, Skywalker, awesome guy. But yeah, we built a couple of t-shirts and they did okay. We took them to a couple of events and people liked them and they sold, and we put a little website up and got a little social media following back in the days when social media was easy to do. Right. It just kind of spiraled from there, quite honestly. But it all started out just as this random idea to make a couple of t-shirts. And then, I guess me as a person, I'm a little bit driven to not just sit around and I don't know. It just drove me to try to see what we could do with it. Quite honestly, when I go into whether it's a sport or in this situation a business, it's like I'm kind of all in, and I just put everything I've got into it. So when I saw that it had a little bit of a traction, we were building a little following with it. People were stoked on it. I just kind of went, oh yeah, I wonder. So anyway, I just kind of spun it for maybe about a year or so like that. And then kind of the wheels were falling off everywhere with family, with, trying to run a side job and a full-time normal job. And so I just decided to, my wife was supportive of it, and we just kind of went all in on this. And I said, if I just put my head down and try to figure this thing out. So I came into this with zero experience, right? Zero corporate or not corporate, but zero business experience. And
just like, it's a business, man. Everybody can do it.
It can't be that hard, right? It's just I mean, it's just managing cash flows. It's managing people.
Right.
All those things that I've never done before. So, yeah, it was kind of this whim, and I decided to put my head down and try to figure it out. So it's been the hardest thing I've ever done, no doubt. Thankfully, I've been able to bootstrap the whole thing, no investors outside. So, it's cool to see where it's at today. And I get a kick out of it. I still have that drive to make this thing better and better every day.
Yeah, no, I can relate there, man. I can totally relate there. So you guys just had some t-shirts when you originally.
Yeah. Robert, you used to always wear it back when we don't even have it in the store anymore, but the B1KER, right? The bear on the bike, and then the bear with all the mechanical parts making it up.
Got it.
Those were the bear on the bike was the first design, the other one was the second design, and that's what we launched with. And we made a hat with it, we made socks with it. We just kind of went. It was kind of goofy, honestly, when I look back on it.
Yeah, I had that hat for a long time.
Yeah,
I think I ended up like just sweating in it too many times, and finally got to the point where I was like, I gotta get rid of this thing.
Yeah. So fun story, Robert. When it started as we launched it. The brand name was Oso, which is bear in Spanish, right? So I was actually managing a cross country race team locally here, and it was called Oso Loco Racing. It's Crazy Bear, right?
Right.
And so this all kind of formed out of a race team that we had going. So we just dropped the loco and we said Oso MTB, and we ran it for about 6 months that way, and until it hit the point where it's like, oh wait, if I really actually want to make a business out of it, I got to trademark the name. And then I went to go trademark the name, again, not having a clue what I'm doing, but finding out, Googling trademarking company name, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And quickly realized that I couldn't trademark that name. I actually looked at it before I named it back in 2014. And I looked at it and it was available. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But in that time, in that 6-month time, Home Shopping Network or QVC or one of those, corporations that I don't want to mess with had come in and grabbed the name.
Oh,
so I just decided rather than battling QVC, I just go figure out another name, which is the hardest thing in the world, right? But so we went through the process of trying to figure out another name. My son is actually the one that came up with the name. He came into my office one day, probably 2 months into this whole process. And he said, Dad, he saw me on the trademark website. And he said, are you still looking for a name? And Lucas is 11 at the time. And he goes, Dad, why is it so hard? It shouldn't be that hard. Just call it the Awesome Shirt Company. I mean, that's what people know you as. I mean, you make awesome shirts. Just call it the Awesome Shirt Company. See if that's available. And all right, just to humor him, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And like, I looked it up. Yeah, it's available. That's cool. But Lucas, like, I don't know that I want to be a shirt company long term. I'd love to see this go more than just T-shirts, And he said, Dad, because we've been talking acronyms, RUCA, Hurley, or not Hurley, FMF pipes, or there's a bunch of the acronyms that we've been kind of into. And he goes, Dad, call it Tasco. That sounds kind of sick.
Yeah.
And so anyway, hence the name was born out of that. Tasco, the Awesome Shirt Company. So anyway, then you went
and try to get the website, and sure enough, somebody else had Tasco.com, right?
Well, yeah. So we had to be Tasco MTB, because if you're Tasco, you're going to get binoculars, right?
Right.
And rifle scopes and stuff like that. But the cool thing is, like, as we've grown, I mean, it's now you can type in Tasco, and I dare everybody who's listening to this to do that, but type in Tasco and we don't come up too far. Sometimes we pop up before the rifle guys now. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So anyway, that's the little nickel tour.
Yeah, that's good. I think I'm pretty sure I did ask that same question before.
Yeah.
As you were telling the story, I was like, I feel like I heard this before.
Yeah.
So that has to be one of those like random, Snapple under the cap facts now, right? What does Tasco actually stand for?
Well, you know what? It's kind of cool is we've never marketed that. I don't want to be the Awesome Shirt Company.
Yeah.
It's not where we're at as a brand at this point. And
but
it's kind of that, like, I don't know if it's a folklore or the little hidden story that when people hear it, they just kind of like, oh, I'm in the club because I know the name almost, right? I mean,
right.
I know what that stands for. So yeah, it's kind of turned into a fun little story. So
that is fun. You should make like a 10-year anniversary shirt or something like that just says it.
Yeah.
The Awesome Shirt.
Yep.
So you said 2014 is when you started?
Yeah. September of 2014 or August, maybe. September, something like that. Yeah.
Wow, man. So you're coming up on 10 years. Did you think at the time, it was really going to be like a thing? Or did you think like, man, I don't know how long this is going to go, but right now that's what I'm doing?
No way. I had it's just been, I had no plan to do this. But at the same time, it's not like it's just unfolded in front of me. I mean, I hit a point where I was like, yeah, I want to go. And then but no, back in 2014, I was like, shoot, dude, I'm just making a couple of T-shirts. This is kind of cool. I've never done that before. Right.
Right. So did you just start out with like just the website? That's kind of how it was going down, or you were going to like,
yeah, things were so different. I feel like then, I created a little Squarespace or something like that, little website, put a couple of photos up, put the product images up. And the tricky thing is anybody can make a website, right? But then how do you get people to it? So back in 14, it was a lot easier to just build a social media following, I'd say.
Yeah.
But we just did it. I just would go out with my iPhone. I did a lot of events in the first like several years, quite honestly. I mean, more than my family wanted me to do, and more than I wanted to do for that matter. But I did a lot of local traveling to hitting the events within Arizona, California, just kind of the local areas here. And honestly, I think that was probably the biggest thing that was helpful for the brand, was just shaking hands with people, making them feel part of something. And
you would just go to like bike races and
yeah,
things of that nature, and you had like a tent and you had some t-shirts in it, or
I had a 1990 Westphalia at the time, right? So, and I in a little pop top camper kind of thing, and I would load that thing. I mean, I felt like the Beverly Hillbillies. I'd be like driving down the highway, barely able to pass, just get through the highway, and just loaded up with my stuff. And I'd show up, pop up a little tent, had a ton of fun meeting people, and
yeah,
just honestly, just that really grassroots organic approach to the community, and just loving it. I hated being away from the family, but I loved being a part of the events and meeting all the cool people and sharing bike stories and riding bikes with them and all that kind of stuff. Right. So that's kind of where it started. And, hard though, hard way to build a business. And the social media part followed that. Just, it was Instagram really for the most part. And, but just, I'd snap photos. Here I am, just whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. It's just a fun little adventure, quite honestly. And
right.
And then the brand kind of just built around that. So,
yeah, I mean, there has to be something to what you did that works, right? Because it's not like you can just go and make a design and all of a sudden you're making enough money to have a business. I have like whatever 15,000 16,000 people on YouTube that are following me on the main channel.
Well, by the way, congratulations. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, you would think like if I was not Robert, who's done YouTube for as long as I have, I would think with 16,000 people that I could just like, hey guys, I got a t-shirt, and boom, I sell like 1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no, I got t-shirts on my shop. I saw somebody buy 2 the other day. Is the first time I've seen some t-shirts sell in a couple months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like and I'm not, obviously marketing that as the main part of the business, but what I'm getting at is like, even with that kind of following, you can't, I just can't make sales like happen like that. So
right.
I mean, you had to put the wheels of the ground and go out and like really.
So here's the deal. I'm giving everybody the secrets, right? The secret sauce to what I've done. But I mean, I wanted to build a brand that was design focused, right? That I didn't want to do so many brands around that kind of look like us at this point. They'll do an Alibaba glove. They'll go find a glove on Alibaba, and they all kind of look the same, and they'll slap their design and their name on it, and then they market it, right?
Right.
Same thing with shorts, whatever it is, whatever product you might be talking about. But I knew from day one that I didn't want to be that kind of brand. I wanted to be a brand that built something from the ground up, that built something different enough that it had its own space, quite honestly. And I wanted to have good, solid, like SoCal feeling designs. That's just what I wanted, right? So early on, before I was ever even paying myself, I made the call to hire Jeremy, our designer. And Jeremy, that was back in 2019, I brought him on. And I hired him away from, I'll just say, a reputable mountain bike brand, another company. And it was basically one of those things where I just knew I needed to pony up and pay the money to bring somebody on that knew how to design the right product. And I scored with Jeremy. He's awesome. He's not only an awesome individual, but he's also just somebody that knows design. He knows how to build a product. He knows what other companies outside of our space are working on too. Like he has that eye where he's not just like, oh, hey, let's copy what POC is doing, or, you know, whoever it is. He looks at, hey, what is, I don't know, 686, or, you know, a brand outside of our space that's far above who we are, or any of the brands in our space. And he says, what are, and I shouldn't use that as an example, but you know what I mean?
Like I get what you're saying, man. Yeah.
He's just looking far outside of mountain bike, or for inspiration on what he's doing.
Right.
And so to me, like, that hire was critical for us. It's just been awesome. But Jeremy not only is a developer, he can build the product, but he's also a graphic designer too. So he can, you know, he's created the look of Tasco, I would say, and how we look, and so thankful for that. So I mean, to me, I just knew I if I was going to do this, I wanted to do it right. I didn't need to do it fast. I think that was the thing too. I didn't need to try to pretend like we were somebody that we weren't. I wanted to do this organically, grassroots. You know, there's something that you know, I don't have any outside investment. It's all organic, basically. So, just, I don't know, wanted to do it our way, different, but really, really polished and well. So,
So initially, were you guys, or not? That's not the direction I want to go. What am I doing over here? So did you said you started with some shirts and some hats, and I think you said socks too?
Yeah, we did. We worked with Sockeye. We did a couple of socks with them. Yeah.
So, but then somewhere along the line, you decide to start like making your own apparel. I would say with socks or with shirts, you know, it's kind of like you buy a blank of some sort and you silk screen it, or whichever method you want to do to get your design on the shirt. But then you get to a point where you're going to do, say, like you want to step away from Sockeye, or you wanted to do a glove. Right. How did you then decide, okay, how do I find a company to make this? Not give me a blank. How do I find a company to
that's the benefit of product? That's the benefit of bringing somebody on who's done this before, right?
Right.
So by bringing Jeremy in, you know, he had the connections with the factories that make the good gloves, that make the good socks, that make the good shorts, all that stuff, right? So you know, that was critical for us. We weren't going out and just sourcing blanks and putting our you know, our tags on it or whatever.
Right.
So again, just super grateful for that transition. When that happened, it helped a ton. But you're exactly right. T-shirts, hats, socks, you can kind of do that. You know, slap a logo kind of thing on there.
Yeah, you can totally fake it. I mean, even at like my level of production, where I'm kind of doing like DTG T-shirts. I mean, you can pay a little bit extra and get your own tag put in there. And,
right.
And as far as the consumer knows, they would like have zero idea that this is a whatever shirt. You know,
right. Next level or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, and so honestly, for T-shirts, that's what we do too. We use Next Level or whoever it is and slap our logo on it and run it. But for the more technical pieces, it's all built from the ground up. So
was it the glove? Was that the first one where you really kind of stepped into
2017? I remember this way too well, right? But Sea Otter 2017 is when we launched the gloves. And I wanted to do stuff different. I didn't want to look like, again, if I'm going to do this, I don't want to be the same. So it was kind of a funny thing, but it's amazing how well it's done and kind of held through over whatever it is, 5 years now. But at the time, I would sell the gloves with a sock as a package. So we were the first ones really to do that whole pairing a glove sock combo. Now it's pretty common, right? But we Sea Otter, remember, everybody wanted to buy just the glove or just the sock, and we said no, it's a package. That's the only way we had them put together, right? We had them bundled, and we showed up to Sea Otter, and they were in bins, and they were, no, you buy this, so you're a small, you know?
Right.
And so we went that way for about a year or so, but but yeah, so when we did the gloves, when we launched those, it was with the sock paired up with them as well, which has honestly been super fun. And we still do that to this day. Every month we drop a new combo that's a glove sock combo, and people eat it up. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea because I think like if you change your design like that all the time, you'll get people like me who want a new design and haven't necessarily worn out the old one.
Right.
You know, so where with like a glove, like a regular glove and sock, if you had that one, let's just call it a pattern or whatever, you know, maybe you buy a set of socks and a glove, and you might wear, like, depending on how much you ride, you might wear that for a year before you want to buy another one. You know?
Right.
But like you get somebody like me, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Dude, I have a freaking drawer full of gloves that I wear. You know.
So it's so funny, Robert, because we see, like, I mean, I have eyes on the people that buy and whatever, and there's people that probably buy almost every month a glove sock combo. And then it's funny because you'll see a lot of people, they'll like boom, 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 they'll buy months in a row, and then they go dormant completely because I think they realize, like, wait a second here, these guys got me. I gotta slow down here. This is
right.
Or they get in trouble with their family or something like that. So
right.
But yeah,
do you guys send out a lot of marketing, like emails to those like people that are repeat buying? I can say that there's a belt company, Arcade. I think they're out of Northern California, and I bought one of their belts just because I wanted to try it, and I really like it a lot. And because of that, I ended up buying another one. But they send me these emails like every couple of months, and I'll get this. There's another color, and I fall into the same pattern with the damn gloves that I do with these belts now. I got probably 6 of them because they're just like, oh, it's different. I need a green one now. Of course I need a green one.
Yeah. It's going to match my bike or my, whatever. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we do. I hope we don't spam people too badly, but we do send out, like, whenever it's new product, we're gonna let people know what's going on. But yeah, it's just fun. Honestly, we do probably, I would guess, more product drops than any other company out there in our space. We just, it's kind of what drives us to do fun new stuff, new colorways, whether it's on the shorts or the gloves or the jerseys or whatever it is. Just keep new stuff coming, because I mean, that's kind of the world we live in right now. Everybody they don't want to sit on one design for too long. So yeah, and once people figure out if that's a good fit for them, cool. It makes it just all right. I need a green one now. I need a blue one. I need a skeleton. I need an American flag one. Whatever. Right.
So you had these gloves and stuff, and I feel like you had a good thing. You could have just stuck with that and probably kept, growing just with the pattern changes and stuff like that. But you started like venturing into different models, and then different pieces of the kit, and we can get into each one of them. But what was the drive there? Just because you really wanted this to be a full brand, or was it like, what was the drive to start? Because I think, what was it? A different glove was probably the first thing that you did.
Yeah, we did the glove. Yeah, I mean, it was 2020. Actually, I remember it very vividly because it was the start of COVID, which was scary. Right. It was when we dropped the shorts, right? And that's when we came out with our first run of shorts. But yeah, we had, we had done, like, I guess we had done a winterized, we call it the Dawn Patrol, which is the California winter glove, right? And we'd done that one. And really was I guess we'd done the Recon glove, which was a lightweight glove at the time too. So I guess we had 3 gloves built out before we did the shorts. I guess you're right. But honestly, the shorts is an interesting one, because that was just a desire to build what we wanted to build more than anything. It was a frustration with trying to find a good short. And so, I mean, it was Jeremy and I spending a lot of time, like, over the drawing board, getting samples, whatever it is. But really, and honestly, we probably bought almost everybody's short at the time, and kind of just like pulled it apart in our minds, like, hey, what is it we like about this? What is it we don't like about this? And that's where the Scout short came from, was just really like us sitting there going, what do we want to ride in? But yeah, so I'd say that's where that stemmed from. And then now we've got four different types of shorts. So it's just kind of evolved into more and more. It's addictive, right?
Yeah, I think you probably get addicted to creating things. I know I do. So I would imagine that's part of it, right? But then the other thing is, like, I feel like if you're going to sit still, you're not going to keep growing. Right. So, I mean,
not in today's world, people are way too ADD, right?
Yeah.
We all are. We're not satisfied for very long with what we've got. So we have to keep moving to stay interesting and relevant, I'd say, for sure.
I feel like that short that you brought out, though, you really hit that one out of the park. Like honestly, like that. I had a pair of your like prototypes that you had given me, and then I had like the final, and even the differences in those two, like I could see like exactly why it was like, oh, like I don't like this about that prototype.
Yeah.
And that was different on the final, and it was just some like, and they were minor things like how big the belt loop is. I think that was one of the things I remember on the prototype. I was like, man, I don't really care for that. And like, but then I like held up the finished product one. I was like, no, like you're on it, and hands down, like very, very comfortable, like great, like the way they were made and everything. I think the only thing that some people have to overcome with the brand, that with your merchandise in that aspect, is that it's on the higher end of the price scale, However, even me, a cheap ass, if I get something that is expensive, but it actually is built well, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But I remember my first pair of Fox shorts that I bought. I went out and I bought like, I don't know how much they were, $90. And to me, it just seems freaking ludicrous compared to a pair of jeans that I can wear like all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I bet you I didn't even have those things for a month and a half. And I took some digger and they ripped. And I was just like, this is bullshit, man.
Yeah.
No. But those shorts yours, like they're really good shorts. They were super comfortable. Like, phenomenally comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing is about, Robert, you bring up a good point. Like, we don't want as a brand be the value brand. That's not, every brand needs to choose who they are, right?
Yeah.
And we'll pause for a commercial while you step away.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah. No, I mean, so to me, we don't intentionally want to be a value brand. We would rather go put the better materials in there, build it better, put the money into the development, put the money into the better factories, whatever it is, instead of trying to appease the value customer, quite honestly.
Right.
And honestly, as a brand, we don't also want to be the brand that's too expensive either, right? That's using all the high-tech fabrics. So we try to find that balance and use fabrics that maybe aren't the name brand fabrics, but that have the characteristic of the name fabrics. And that allows us to kind of be at that, I would say, middle level price point, yet with the look and feel of the more premium price point product. So yeah, as a brand, we want to be kind of in that middle space. Quite honestly, I don't want to be the $70 with a liner short. That's not who we want to play with. So.
Yeah. Speaking of liners, are you planning on bringing one out?
So
can we talk about that? I mean, if you have it in the mix and you don't.
No. It's a really tough subject. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we sell on our website a liner that I love. I don't know if you've heard of Nesium. Actually, a good friend of mine, Justin, built his company. and he makes a liner, and we sell that, and I love that liner. It does it's just comfortable. It functions well. It's a good liner. And so we actually, I had conversations with Justin, told him, hey, we're developing a liner, just so you know. And he was fine with it. I said, our whole thing is going to be different than yours, but we built it, and I wasn't happy with it, quite honestly. Jeremy and I, neither of us were really stoked. So we had it built out. We were ready to launch it this year in spring. And the last second, I just pulled back. I go, no, it's not ready. It's not different enough. It's not better than what's out there. And so honestly, that's been shelved. We've kind of put our energy elsewhere, but yeah, the liner thing, we have a great liner for sale on our website. It's not ours. And I'm a firm believer in that. So at this point, we've just kind of stuck with that. So
yeah. That's good though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm starting to wonder if I want to wear liners anymore. Honestly, it's one of those things that sometimes I question if I'm wearing them just because I always have, or if I really need it, you know? And I think when I first got into mountain biking, well, first of all, there wasn't really good options for liners at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And then also like just the amount of riding that you do when you're more of a beginner is a little more infrequent.
Yeah.
And so I think those parts of your body, like they need that extra padding. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I ride a ton now, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a chill ride or something like that. I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. I'm like riding with the lady or something, and it doesn't bother me any. And then I'm like, do I really need it? Like, do I really, really need it? Because you have like saddles now that are just like so perfectly designed. Like back in the 90s, there was no real good, like it, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the way that they are now. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
It's a good question. I think if you're spending enough time in the saddle, you still probably are going to benefit, but I know people that don't, and they swear by it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I do.
You still wear one or you don't?
Yeah, I do wear one.
Yeah.
I'm giving way too much personal information.
No, that's cool, dude.
No, to me, I've just never really tried to not wear one. I've just it's an important part of my ride, and I can't go without it. So
yeah, no, I feel like I'm the same way. And yeah,
I don't know,
but it's like as soon as you get done riding, God, you got to get that freaking
the diaper. You got to get the diaper off. Yeah,
right.
I think it's I'm sure you can build up calluses and stuff like that, and just be fine without it. I haven't gone there yet.
Right. I feel like I should just give it an honest effort, and just see if I really do. But
well, I'll check back with you in 6 months. How does that sound?
Dude, well, if I know anything about myself, I will talk about something and complain about it for like at least a couple of years before I get to the point of actually doing something about it. Let me tell you, I bought those the Santa Cruz valves. What are they called? The Fillmore valves.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you like the spoiler alert on the review that I do. I fucking hate them. I despise them. Like there is only one thing that I like about them, and that's that they allegedly don't get clogged. I haven't got clogged yet, so I'm not going to say that they do or they don't.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I can't stand them. However, I'm fucking lazy, and I won't take my tires off just to remove them and put new valve stems in until I wear my tires out. So that's the type of person I am.
Yeah. I don't know the first thing about them, so I'm gonna rely on your review when it comes out.
Oh man, have you even heard of them?
Yeah, no, I've heard of them. I've just never used them. So
yeah, I'm telling you right now, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Unless this is the main thing. They work well for moving air back and forth, but there's like a couple of things that I'm one of those guys that doesn't pour sealant in my tire. I usually inject it through the valve.
Yeah.
Which you can't really do with that, the way that their stem works. And because you can't take the inside out and just squish it through. Right.
Right.
And then also the way that the valve stem works, I have one of those Park Tool like air compressor, tells you what your air pressure is, as well as your, what I'm saying, like for your air compressor, right?
Yeah.
The thing's like $170. It's like one of the dumbest purchases I've made, like as far as like cost versus like utility. And that thing doesn't work with the Fillmore valves because it doesn't like put the pressure on the valve stem right in order for it to read the air pressure of the tire. Then I just found out the other day while I'm in Jamaica, took one pump with me to fill my tires up. My 1-Up pump that has been on both my bikes for the last couple of years doesn't work with those stems either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the stem needs to have one of those like locking type of pumps on it for it to work properly. And that 1-Up one works the same way as my Park one does for my air compressor. It's like it just slides on and just that's it. It doesn't. And so yet another reason. And for me, those are like already several like major inconveniences to my life over the sometimes my valve stem gets clogged.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they're like $50. It's like $50 for a set.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't even know how much a new set of regular ones cost, but I'm assuming it's like $10. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes technology goes too far and it kind of goes backwards, right?
I think if you have different gear than I do, and maybe you have different weight, like maybe you're a guy that's like, I know tons of guys when they put it on their tire, they just pour the sealant into the tire and then they pop it on.
Yeah. But which is what I do, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So
if I try that, I get sealant everywhere.
Yeah.
Like somehow I like I'm like working this damn thing over and I get it all, like, so like for me, I've always like done it the other way. So like just that would solve one of those problems. If you don't have the same kind of pump as I do,
right,
that's not a problem.
And I do. Like, I'm like listening to your problems. I'm like, well, my pump would work fine with that. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so for you, it could be amazing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for me, it's like, no.
But that's honestly, Robert, that's where it's good information, just putting it out there, right?
Yeah.
To say this is my experience because this is what I use. And then it's like, you don't have to like, and nor would you like just completely bash on the product, but you'd be like, for me personally, this is like, it doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z, right? So
Right. Yeah. So I mean, to each their own, I guess, is the moral of that story. But where
did we get off on that? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's typical for me though. So, but to bring it back to your stuff though, is like, I have never had that experience with any of the Tasco gear that I like. There's not been like me trying to find ways to eloquently tell people that it works. It could work for them. Like your products have been like great products. I really, really enjoyed those shorts when they came out. Fun fact, the reason that I stopped wearing the gray ones that I had was because I got sealant all over them and I couldn't get the damn sealant out of them. And they just looked atrocious.
And here you go, Robert. That's a great point. What you said, the staining, right?
Yeah.
And we're working on that, quite honestly, because the fabric that we use, it's dyed, it's not sublimated, so it's more susceptible to stains, right? So, we're actually working through the factory with some coatings on the next shorts to help with staining. So, yeah, good. It always goes on, right?
Yeah, and I think that was probably just more of a one-off problem that I personally had, but because that latex, when it gets into your clothes and dries, I blew a tire out on a trail or cut like a sidewall basically, and I had to take my tire off because I had cush core in. I had to take the cush core out, put a tube in, and then I was like wearing the cush core like some kind of like pageant sash or something like that, you know what I mean? And, and so I had sealant like everywhere, and I ended up I think I did a shorts video, and I can't remember if on that video I had bought a bunch of different like cleaners, and I tried to get that sealant out of it, And this was like after I had still worn them for like a couple of months after that. So that stain was like, it was very well worked in there.
Yeah.
And for the most part though, I almost got it all out. But I think the other thing aside from that was I also lost a bunch of weight, so they didn't fit anymore. So that was the final straw for them.
Yeah, that's a good problem right there.
Right? Yeah, definitely. That's where I'm at right now. Because the new shorts that you brought out, what were that? I think it's the Scouts,
the Phantoms, probably,
Phantoms.
right? Yeah,
super lightweight. If anybody out there has not tried these and you like light gear, these are amazing. Like hands down, my favorite pair of shorts that I have, like without a doubt. I mean, Nate, I even sent you an email afterwards. It's like, dude, I need to buy the rest of how do I get all the other colors?
Yeah. No, that was a fun product. And this is a good example of just like wanting to do our own thing. And this is the strife between Jeremy and I, because Jeremy comes to me with his fabric. He says, I want to build a short on this. And I looked at it and I held it up to the light and I said, there's no way that anybody's going to wear this. Right. In a lot of ways, it feels like like a gym short or, just a really ventilated short. But he goes, no,
it's
trust
so
me.
Light.
He goes, trust me. He goes, nobody's using this in mountain bike right now. And he goes, but there's tons of outdoor companies using this material.
Yeah.
And he goes, we should do a short, the full short in this material. No, like not like a panel here or there. Let's build the whole short like this. And we need to make some statements,
Mm-hmm.
So that Phantom short was a good example of just like, hey, we're small enough to take some risks like that. And that short's awesome. I'm actually wearing that in the office today.
Yeah.
So
I totally believe it. Those things are so comfortable. I'm a big fan of the lighter gear. I didn't come to this. I kind of accidentally found that out. And I think it was probably that first pair. I can't remember if it was yours or Hand Ups that I had. One of those first pair of I think it might have been yours. Because was your first one that you had the super light gray. It had kind of like a extra patch over the thumb. What was that one called?
Yep, the Recon.
That was the Recon.
Yeah,
I think it might have been yours that I had first, and I just really enjoyed. It's hot out here.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's the same for people that live in more like humid environments or not. If it feels the same, like having that lighter glove, but out here in Northern California where it's super hot and dry, like just having that little less material, at least to me, it's a lot more comfortable.
Yep.
And I hate when fall comes around and I have to like put my regular gloves back on. Like I like my hands being warmer, but I just love the feeling of that lighter glove. And when that short came out, I didn't know, like, I think you gave me a pair when we were at Sea Otter.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, I think I'm going to like this, but I don't know. My initial reaction, my thought process was, these are so light. If I reckon them, I feel like they're going to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if hopefully I haven't eaten shit on them yet, but I love those shorts. Like they're one of those ones where you're like, damn, I've worn them too many times. I definitely have to wash them before I can wear them again. Like
the odor police is on you, right? Yeah.
You're like, I can't get away with this. So that's when I knew I was like, dude, I need to buy some more of these for sure.
No, but that kind of stuff's super fun for us. Just doing things. And I mean, honestly, a short like that is what got us into REI to carry their shorts. I mean, or to carry shorts in their stores. Just because, and they said to us, nobody else does something like this. This is rad. People want things that are pushing limits, quite honestly.
Right.
And built well. And
So the whole reason, I want to touch on that REI thing in just a second. The whole reason I told that long ass story was because we were talking about losing weight. And when you gave me those lighter ones, you said, these fit a little bit smaller. Go with the bigger size. I got the 38s at the time. And right now I have those like fully cinched. So I was wondering, does that mean that you're like, am I in a spot where I could go to 36?
Yeah.
Like if it's all the way cinched in, like with that, because
right?
you have, for those people that don't know, they have like a lot, like straps on the inside of the shorts that have some Velcro in it, so that you can pull the short to be tighter or looser than maybe whatever the actual size is, and so it's better for comfort. And is that a good indicator? Or
yeah, I mean, honestly, put them. What I would do is just loosen them all the way out and see how they fit. And if you've got an inch or two to spare, go down to the smaller size.
Go for it.
The nice thing is, if you can fit into the shorter size, honestly, it fits better overall because it's less likely to hang up on the saddle or something like, everything, the length, the width, everything grades together, right? So
right.
I mean, I would just loosen them all the way out and go, hey, do I think I can get into the next size down, and then run
if I loosen them up all the way, they're gonna fall off. That's
then I would say for sure,
that's what I was holding off on buying the other ones, because I was like, I don't want to go buy 3 pairs of these things and not fit them,
Robert, good for you. You've been working at that, right?
Yeah, it's been an up and down thing, dude.
Yeah.
So hang on, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze any second now, so when that happens,
I thought you were gonna get teary-eyed.
I know, right? Excuse me. So I definitely have. I mean, I started out, I put on enough weight to be the heaviest that I ever was at the beginning of COVID. And I was already well on my way to, I was already every day was the heaviest day I'd ever been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when COVID first hit, man, I was like, it felt like I was on vacation every day, because I was not now. Well, first we were off for a couple weeks. Like my job, we got like, whatever that first like 2 weeks was, everybody got like, we got a little free vacation.
Right.
And at that point I was like, yeah, I'm drinking beer every day, freaking, like dessert with every meal. Fucking A, this is rad.
Day drinkers are us, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I got on the scale and I was 300 pounds. I couldn't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
And that was a moment that really like kind of woke me up, and just was like, dude, you can't bullshit yourself about you're just a bigger guy right now.
Yeah.
Like 300 pounds is like, that's a lot of weight, dude. And it's not like I'm 6'9" or something like that. I'm 6'2". So I lost a bunch, and then I feel like I got really like just happy with where I lost like 60 pounds. So I was like, man, this is rad. I'm like, but I wasn't at my goal. And one way or another, I gained like 20, 30 pounds back, just through like, taking on some of those bad habits again, too much beer and chicken wings and not enough workout, and I don't remember what it was. Something a couple months ago, I was just like, dude, you need to hit this goal. I wanted to get to that goal, so I just locked everything back in.
Nice.
So, yeah, but you have to keep yourself honest for a long time, and that's tough to do. And I've found that if I can give myself some breaks here and there, or I can just let loose. So last week I went to Jamaica. I was definitely not concerned about what I ate or whatever, and kind of like probably just wrapping up this 4-day, this coming up 4-day weekend, and or long weekend, and get through the 4th, and then I'll get back at it. But I really feel strongly, I think I can really hit that goal that I wanted to get to, which is originally was getting down to 220. I think I can do that. I would love to do that before or by my birthday, which is August 30th. So it's another 2 months. I think I can do it. We'll see.
Dude, you call me. I'll keep you accountable. I need to do the same, quite honestly.
Yeah.
As we get older, it gets harder.
Dude, it does. It really, really does. When I was 30, I could just be like, I'm only going to drink every other day, and then I'm going to run once or twice a week, and I would drop like 20 pounds. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like now it's like go to the gym, go freaking ride every day, eat perfect, and lose like 2 pounds a week. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
On the hot days, right?
Right. Right. So you mentioned REI. I
Yep.
am sure in 2017 that
Oh, yeah.
Nate in 2017 had 0 sites on REI, probably, huh?
No, I didn't even think about it. Right.
Would you say at that point that you were thinking though, like I would love this brand to be like a in the store brand, or did you not think that that was even the direction that the company would go?
So, I mean, honestly, when I look at our brand, Tasco, and I look
Uh-huh.
at REI's brand, I would say they look kind of similar. Or they have a similar feel to them, the
Yeah.
similar, um, the look and feel, I guess. So I don't know if it was 2017, 18, 19 when I started reaching out to them.
Mm-hmm.
It was not just like, hey, will you carry our gloves, or hey, will you carry, whatever. It was more like, hey, would you look at our brand?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a symbiotic relationship here. I think we could do well together.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I mean, I've always looked at that not just as, hey, let me get some product in there, but hey, how do we match our brand up with their brand?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just feel like there's a lot of similar feel to the two different brands. So
I agree with you there. I mean, when you told me about the short stuff, I immediately felt the same way. Like 100% was like, yeah, dude, you guys belong in that store. Like the quality of your shorts and your gear in general, like it definitely it makes sense to me. But it
yeah.
was really cool too to like I didn't realize that you had just started in 2017, which is like right around when I think that might be the same year I started my YouTube channel. I thought you had been around for a while, you know? So when I walked into my local REI not too long ago, I saw your gloves in there. I actually made an Instagram post about it because it was like,
I saw
this
that.
is bad, you know? Like it was like your neighborhood buddy, got into the NFL.
Yeah.
Because it was like it's like here's Fox
Man.
stuff, here's Shimano stuff hanging on the peg next to Tasco, and that's
Yeah.
rad.
Yeah.
That has to feel good.
No, that's cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, it was. Trust me, there's a lot of rejoicing going on here when they said yes, right?
Yeah.
A few years back, and it was a long road. I mean, there's a lot of courting going on between the two brands, and it's not easy to get in there. But um, I mean, the cool thing was, and I think I shared this with you at Sea Otter, was that when I met with a buyer there, she said, "Buckle your seatbelt. You guys are doing
Yeah.
great. We love your brand, and we'd like to start scaling it in the stores." So, we'll see where that goes. It's
Yeah.
it's in progress. Honestly, I'm fine with that. I don't want to scale things too fast with a brand like that because
Yeah.
we're small. We're little guys here. So, but no, it's exciting to get that recognition from a big brand like that and get to play in that field. So.
How does that's got to be it has to be a little bit scary in today's supply and demand environment to be like there's a lot of brands that are just fighting to be able to like provide product to their current customers, let alone opening up this new venue for potential for like a huge amount of additional sales.
Right.
Is that something where you're concerned with like, am I going to be able to get the, I don't know, the 30% more gloves that I need to be able to make? Or
No, I mean, Robert, you're touching on something that's so real is the supply chain issue right now.
yeah,
It's no joke what's going on, and
right,
we've had to juggle, quite honestly, because we're a small brand and we're in with some pretty good factories that kind of hit a point where they couldn't handle a small brand like ours.
yeah,
So we've had to do some shuffling and moving around and figuring it out. So yeah, and then you throw in a big account that potentially could scale things pretty quickly. And, and again, on a dollars level, I only have so many dollars here to play with. Right. And
Right.
so how do you trust me, I've had a lot of sleepless nights because of this. But
I can only imagine like the internal turmoil that my brain would have would be like, here's this opportunity that I have for this thing to like feel like it's gonna like make this big step around this bend, and then you're like, is like the world against me? Like right now, I can't get freaking product to do this,
Well, thankfully for us, we've been able to navigate the product issue, right?
That's good.
It's good. Slower. It costs more. And we've had to adjust different factories and rework things with factories, right? So, but we're not sitting on a situation without supply, which is good.
That's really good.
But when you start talking to a big company like this, then you're like, I don't know what I can do, but we'll figure it out as we go, right?
Right. 100%. I mean, I would imagine the majority of your sales is still through like directly through your website, right?
No, actually not anymore. I mean, we're probably, so majority, you're probably right, but it's not the vast majority like it was. We've brought on somebody, his name's Mike here internally that's handling our sales for us. And, so our wholesale channel has grown quite a bit. So more and more people are going to be seeing Tasco in their local stores, quite honestly.
Okay.
Which is fun. Super exciting. So, but it's still, we do a lot with online. We love online, it's still we like it because we have that direct contact with the customer. And that's that family feel kind of staying around. Like, hey, if something's wrong, please let us know, reach out directly to myself, reach out to Brian, who's handling customer service, whatever it is. But, being able to, like, for instance, somebody left a review on REI that I was super bummed on the Phantom shorts. I have no way of handling that. Right. It's kind of, out of your hands. So, I still love that direct relationship with people when they order on the website. So,
the main reason I was asking was because of shipping. I mean, shipping has gone up quite a lot. So, I would imagine you probably had some kind of free shipping or something like that set up for people over a certain price point. Like,
we're actually for this month, we've been doing free shipping for all orders. It's like, yes, but you're exactly right. Shipping has gone up. It's a tough thing to address.
Yeah. Screw that guy on REI, by the way, because I really like those shorts.
That's awesome. I do too. It's hard when you have however many hundreds of positive results. And, but I just personally, I get like, hey, I want to address that. I want to make it right,
No,
and I can do that when it's a website purchase. I can't do that when it's through a shop or something like that. So,
So you're definitely getting into more shops and stuff like that. And then, man, REI, that's huge. I'm so happy for you to like have that opportunity in front of you right now. Who knows where it goes from there, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun.
Maybe someday kids that aren't even mountain bikers will be wearing Tasco shirts because they're awesome shirts, right?
There you go. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's the way it felt for like Billabong or something like that. And all of a sudden where there's, like middle America kids that never even see the ocean are wearing their t-shirts and they're going, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah. Here's a surf brand and all the wakeboard guys in Minnesota are wearing it, right?
Right.
Nothing against Minnesota, nothing against wakeboarding, right? But
yeah, for sure. So, somebody else in here earlier, I can't find it in the comments right now because I'm lousy at doing my job. But there's a guy up top that said, mentioned your pants and how much he really enjoyed having them. And talk to me about those. This is another one of those new product lines that you've gone down.
Yeah, that was Sea Otter, the funny Sea Otter in November last year, right? We launched those. Honestly, it's not that hard to do a good pant. When you have a good short, it's not that hard to do a good pant, right? So
just make them longer and taper them, right?
Are those long shorts or those short longs? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
No, the pants are just really an evolution on the Scout short.
Uh-huh.
So same template up top and just lengthened out and obviously built to be a pant instead. But I don't mean to minimize the difficulty in building it, but when you have a guy like Jeremy, it seems really easy to do it. So, but yeah, the pant is honestly, if you wear it, it almost reminds me of like a sweat pant or a yoga pant or something like that. How flexible and comfortable it is when you're wearing it, and it just I don't know. I don't wear them that often, quite honestly, myself. I've never worn pants before. Before we launched them, and then I've worn ours a handful of times. I just don't need them, quite honestly. But there's people around here that do wear pants, and they're working well for them. So it's just it's kind of a growing section. I think e-bike rider, like e-bikers, it's like I love wearing them when I ride my e-bike, quite honestly, because you're not so worried about getting hot and sweaty, and you get a little bit more protective against bushes whacking against your poison ivy or whatever it is. Right? So I think they're good. I couldn't believe how quickly they sold last fall.
Really?
We launched them. Yeah. So
you didn't expect to see them go like that, huh?
No, I had no idea, but it's a real thing. Pants are a real thing. So
I think I understand that, because I never thought that I was going to like pants. And this season is the first season where I got a pair.
Yeah.
And I'm totally going to say come winter, I'm definitely a pants guy now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm looking at Crispy's comment here in the chat here. He's up in Bend. He says we have to wear 2 seasons out of the year in Bend. Yeah. It's just, we're in a different climate here in San Diego, and you're in Auburn, right? So there's different weather patterns, but I certainly I've worn them on colder days and I love it. Like it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I didn't even think about wearing pants when I was wearing them. So
I think if you would have given me the option for pants back in the day before everybody was wearing knee pads, I probably would have jumped at them a little sooner. Yeah. But then once I started wearing knee pads and everybody's wearing tall socks, it's like I'm basically wearing pants. Yeah. With like an inch of my leg sticking out, and that's it.
Right.
So
right.
For the weather here in Northern California, I never really felt the need, but I wanted to give a pair a try. And it's funny, the guy from Bend is the one that said that, because I think the first time I wore the ones that I had, I was in Bend, and it was like snowing up there, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like honestly, pants have come on in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It was downhill pants or nothing at that point, right? So who would want to wear a pair of like thick downhill slippery pants on a trail bike, on a trail ride, right? But they've, we're not the only ones, but there's brand, the space has been developed out to where there's, just a good offering for a trail ride now. And it's completely different story. So,
yeah, it's surprising. It's really surprising to me. I'll have to give yours a shot, because I can just make the assumption that they're based off the Scout. They're just going to feel amazing. So those are definitely comfortable shorts. So I'm fully embracing the pants movement. I am Robert Schumacher, and I endorse this message.
You and Crispy both, right?
Yeah, right. We're both in. So and like you had mentioned too about the poison oak, like in the spring that was the other reason I was wearing them more, was here the poison oak gets so bad, and if I can do anything to keep from getting it, it's worth it. So until the heat comes up too much, then it's like, well, this is what it is now, right?
Yeah. For sure.
So what else you got, anything else new that's launched recently that I'm not in the loop on?
Yeah, I feel like this is a commercial, so I feel a little embarrassed here. So no, so we dropped a new line of shorts this month. Last month we dropped a new line, so that's the session shorts. Honestly,
so what's the deal with the sessions?
can I be very honest to your audience? We took a good pair of surf hybrid shorts, like a walk short. And we engineered a little cell phone pocket into it and did a couple other tweaks to it and made a lifestyle short that's really good for riding in.
Oh, cool.
So basically it's my go-to short on a typical day. Just to wear around. It's open pockets instead of zippered pockets, but it does have the one cell phone zippered pocket still in the thigh, like the Scout does. But it's honestly just a great all-around short that you can wear everywhere without worrying about it. So again, we built that because I wanted it, right? I wanted what I could wear into the office every day, and then go for a pedal if I want to, or go for a swim or whatever it is, right? So I would say, if I were to say the Scout is a 99% riding short, 1% lifestyle, this one is 50-50, right? So it just kind of plays a little bit better. So yeah, just a little bit lighter weight, a little shorter inseam on it, and a little more relaxed fit, quite honestly. And honestly, open pockets so you can get your wallet in and out easy and things like that.
Even for riding shorts, I don't think you don't have to have zippered pockets.
No, you don't. It's nice though. It's definitely nice to keep things secure, no doubt about it. But I
think most of my riding shorts that I have zippers on, I would say 95% of the time the zippers are open.
Yeah.
I don't really, I don't tend to zip them shut.
See, and that's what bugged me on the Scouts, because like I would do that around the office or whatever. I'm wearing them because they're comfortable enough to wear around, but then the zipper, and it just didn't look quite right. It just kind of had a funny look to it. So just having a true lifestyle short feel to it really kind of helped it out. So is it going to change the world? No, it's just a great short to have kind of in the quiver, quite honestly.
Right.
So that's the sessions. And then we have the sessions. I'm sitting here looking at it. I should turn the camera on and show you the showroom, so you can see what I'm looking at. But the session shirt,
there's people listening anyway. They'll never be able to see it.
The session shirt is just more of it's a t-shirt feel, a very heathered t-shirt feel. But it's a dry release material, so it works really good on the bike as well. So
I think you gave me that in Sea Otter.
We had some there. Correct. Yep.
Yeah, but that is a very cool shirt.
Yeah, the whole idea with that line is just something on the bike, off the bike, casual, that performs as well. So
we've
got that, and then just every month a new, Ridgeline small batch glove and sock combo that comes out. So
somebody Brian Vaughn had mentioned in the comments that he lost his car keys riding once, so he always rides with a zipper. And I think that's probably why I don't care, is because I have my truck has that keypad on the side.
You're a Ford driver.
Yeah, so I just leave my keys in the car all the time. So if you ever want to steal my truck, you just got to figure out where I put the keys.
Yeah, and the code, right?
Right. Well, you just put a rock through your window, I guess, right? You just find the keys, then you're good. So, when we were talking earlier, like 2017, Nate probably didn't have his eye set on REI almost 10 years later. So would it be a stretch to say that 10 years from now that you have like a full line of clothing that's not all bike related anymore? Do you see yourself getting in that spot?
If you had asked me last year, I would have said yes. You asked me this year, I don't know. There's so much value in staying true to yourself, right? Staying in your lane. Part of me, like, we're such an outdoor brand, that loves to mountain bike, I feel like. But as soon as you start chasing that outdoor space, you've just diluted yourself so much.
There's a lot of competition. I mean, like, there's not a lot of really good brands, let's just say, on the shelf at REI, You'd be going against like Patagonia at that point.
No, exactly. And so, like, while that's who we are, we're outdoor adventure type people that love to ride mountain bikes. Our internally, our little phrase is between the trees. right? That's like how we categorize ourselves. We're not between the tape. We're not a race brand. We're very much lifestyle adventure. Let's go see what that left turn will take us to, right?
Yeah.
And so it just speaks so much to the adventure side of it. But as soon as you start putting out adventure clothes, then you start looking like so many other brands out there. So I think there's a huge value in staying really, really true to the mountain bike space.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to dilute it that way. So
I'll say the one thing that I really want to see, and I think you're probably the only brand that I can think of right now that's done something close, is I want athletic type t-shirts that I can wear on a ride that have cool designs on them.
Yeah.
Like, and for the longest time ever, if you wanted a real good athletic shirt, it's going to be just one flat color, or you jump to this like jersey space, which is like way too far for me. You know what I mean?
Can I like toggle and show you our spring 23 lineup? No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, certainly the sessions t-shirts that we have, or the session ride shirts, is poised for that.
Yeah.
To be able to take that lifestyle graphic without being cheesy with it at all.
Right.
But taking a lifestyle graphic onto an athletic, because that's what that session tee is. We never, like, I hate the word tech tees.
Yeah.
Because immediately I think of somebody at the gym wearing this shiny, solid color shirt. And that's
100%.
So what we've built is a heathered, very, very lifestyle t-shirt looking device, I'd call it, right? But it's poised for printing on, right? So I think you'll see more of that in the near future.
I think the more of that, the better, because like, honestly, it's just like, I feel like I compromise. It's like, if I want to wear a shirt that I feel like is fun to have on while I'm out, then I'm wearing some kind of like cotton, or, maybe a tri-blend kind of shirt that really doesn't work well when it's wet. You know, which is, I'm a big sweater, so like I sweat a lot, so those shirts don't look great like that, and then they like hang weird, or you'll chafe because it's wet. You know what I mean? Like, so it's either wear something that I feel like looks cool with what I'm wearing, or wear something that actually operates well but doesn't look as cool.
Right.
And that line that you're talking about, that's the one that I had, that I was probably once again, another one of my favorite shirts. The longer one that I have, I think, is the Sessions. It's kind of like ride or casual, but it's also a little bit longer. So when I'm like in the saddle, my ass crack's not hanging out for all my buddies to see. And but it handles the like, it wicks, you know what I mean? And it dries quick. But then it still has a cool design on it. And that, for me, like, I love that, and I feel like that there's not enough of a market for those kind of shirts, you know what I mean? With just like fun designs on them that are just like, plenty of guys just want to wear a t-shirt. They don't want to wear a jersey.
Right.
Well,
so it's interesting. We launched the session tees. Again, trying to read the market, thinking what we liked, right? And we did them as blank, like simple little like flag label on it, but no logos, no nothing, because I thought, hey, I'd like to just kind of cruise around in something that's not logoed up.
Right.
Well, multiple people have, we actually have this showroom open to the public here, and people have come in like, yeah, I like that, but where's the logos? Like, I a logo, or like at least a little simple Tasco logo showing on it, or something. It is.
Yeah.
So we want to be representing what we do, I think. So it's so okay, cool. Next thing we know, we're building out plans for logoing them up. So you'll see those in the next week, probably some simple logoed ones. So,
I think it's a combination of the two. I'm sure there's just as many people that want no logos, or something small. You know what I mean? And but I think as long as you have the options out there, and then you'll be able to catch up everybody with it. So there's.
Hey, Robert, I have a question for you. What do you do for quick commercial breaks when somebody has to go use a restroom?
You go for it, and you just tell me. And
You just talk and I'll be right back.
I will. No problem. So, anyway, so we were just talking about that shirt, and I would love to make a shirt like that I could offer to everybody out there. I went out and I bought this Cricut a while ago. It's like what 40-year-old housewives that want to get into crafting use, and you can make vinyl, you can cut vinyl with it and do like heat transfers. And I've been going crazy making shirt designs with this thing, but I haven't been able to find like a blank t-shirt that is cheap that can do kind of what I was just talking about. So, but either way, I need to launch all of these new designs that I have. So those of you guys that have seen some of the shirts that I'm wearing in my videos or Instagram, and you go to the website and you don't see them on there, if you see one of those shirts and you're interested in it, let me know and I'll work on. I think that's going to be one of my goals for this week, is getting those designs up on the website and out. So as you were gone, I was telling people I bought this Cricut. I don't know when it was. Yeah. And because of that, I've been making so many shirts, and I'm really trying to find that right blank to kind of do what I was talking about with you. But I've definitely noticed that, man, I can see myself getting into like buying whatever you do to like get to silk screening or to that HTV, that heat transfer vinyl. It works well, but it doesn't feel as good when you're wearing it, especially if you have like large portions of vinyl on it, you know? How is it that are yours like printed on? Is it like, or is it silk screen, or is it a combination, or how does that work?
So I mean, right now we do everything with water-based silk screening, right? So that's what gives it that. Like if you use what you're talking about, is like the plastic or plastisol, and when you print with that or you heat transfer with that, it does give you that gooey kind of thick film that goes over it. So what we use is water-based screen printing, and it just soaks into the material then.
So it's kind of like you're dyeing it almost.
You're almost, you're printing it, just like sucks right into the fabrics. You got it. There's tricks with it. You can't do every, the more polyester you have at that point, then you end up like it just soaks right in and you never see it. So you need a certain level of cotton in that blend in order to actually make it adhere to the surface. So for a while there, as the awesome shirt company, right, I actually bought a direct-to-garment printer that we would use. So early on with the Tasco shirts that we would put out, it was cool. We could do one of them if we wanted to. We just have to have the design, and you could print one of them. So it was really, really fun, and I learned a ton. I would be out there printing shirts. That's what I used to do back in my garage. So
I think that's what I've enjoyed about. Well, obviously I'm a creative person. I'm running this YouTube channel and stuff like that. And for me, part of it too was I like the idea to be able to like prototype a design. Get it out. Where if I was using the company that I use to sell my shirts with, I have to design it, then I have to get like a sample from them made, and then they send it to me, and then I'm like, I put it on. I'm sure you're well aware of this, but other people may not. You can make a design that looks sick as hell when you're looking at it on the computer. And then you get it and you put it on, you're like, that looks stupid. Like it just doesn't like look right on somebody's body when it's actually there, And that Cricut has really allowed me to do that, where I can look at the design, see how like the logo is or whatever, and kind of adjust it, And then I can go get the sample, make sure everything's right, and then move forward with putting it on my site. So it really it lets me spend less money and time trying to develop something, like, because before it'd be like when I order a sample shirt, it doesn't come for a couple weeks,
Right.
So
when we had that in house, it was so fun. you could do it, and you could print like full like 4K images onto a white T-shirt too. So you could take photos of yourself or that you had taken or whatever it is, and put a cool little border around it and make some shirts with it. So yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. It just turned into a bad idea when as we grew. It's not cost effective at all, but it was cool.
It's really I mean, as I've gotten into, I'm one of those people that just like goes out and figures out how to do stuff for fun, I guess. I mean, and learning this, like using that Cricut to learn how to make shirts, I've learned a lot of things that most people don't think about. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's it's a really fun process to be creative like that, but it also makes you realize how much more goes into something like creating a shirt or like the gloves and stuff that you guys are making than what you would expect. You know what I mean? Like it would be I guess like the shirt that I'm wearing right now. Those of you guys that are listening, I'm wearing a biker shirt, says "No fucks given" on the front of it, but it looks like the Volkswagen font. It's got a little umlaut over the U just because it makes it look like the Volkswagen font even more. And it's kind of like it was like a play on the Farfad Nugan shirts back in the day. And when I first made this, like to me, it's like, oh yeah, just slap that logo up there, put it on the chest, and then you get it. And one time the logo's like way close to your neck, and you're like, oh well, that looks dumb. And then you're like, okay, well, then the next time you lower it down and now it's like too far down below your nipples, and you're like, well, that looks dumb. And then you like get it in the right place for the size that you wear, and then you order it in a different size, and you're like, well, I don't know if it looks right there now. So it's like, it's definitely like an art form. Like now I like have certain things where I'm like, oh, I know like put my logo here and it should be pretty good on all these like different spots or whatnot, you know?
So here's Robert. Here's a funny one that we were able to figure out with the direct-to-garment printer. But you build a women's shirt with a bicycle, and it's got these nice two round wheels that are symmetrical. And if you place that just wrong, it is horrible looking. So I remember my wife one time, she's like looked at it like, what? Like that's not gonna sell, So it's funny stuff like that where you're just even the placement of what you put or the size or there's nothing worse than getting 500 t-shirts delivered to you and you crack open that box, the first box, and you're like, what? That's not, so it was sure nice to be able to do things and like, make quick changes after the first print, right?
Yeah, definitely. So you were saying that you guys are like between the trees. Where do you, I mean, obviously you can't give away all your future state, but where do you see the brand continuing to go then? If you're not going to get into that full on, everybody outdoor wear.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, there's so much room to just go with adventure, like mountain biking, I feel like, right? I mean, it doesn't mean, and I say that doesn't mean we can't build product that's adventure product in our space, right? And I think the Sessions line is a really good example of that. I mean, you can fly fish and all that stuff. You can go for a hike and that stuff. You can horseback, I don't know, whatever you want to do, right?
Right.
But I think it's just more the mentality of the brand staying true to mountain biking. That's the core love of us. And I think just not suddenly becoming diluted with fly fishing, but it doesn't mean that we can't build product that functions all around. I always think about it when I go camping for a weekend, what do I want to throw in my gear bag? And I'd love nothing more than to have everything that I throw in there be Tasco pieces that work really well for everything. So I don't know. I don't know if that helps you with that answer. It's just much more like on a branding level, staying true to who we are, I would say.
You think you'll stick to the mountain biking, or you could be more of a cycling brand?
No, my desire is to stay mountain biking. I don't have any. If there's any roadies on this that are listening, no offense, but you know, it's much more our DNA to be on the dirt, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think a lot of guys that mountain ride, they
Sure.
cross over to the other, you know, stuff as well. I would imagine that there's probably a space for clothes like guys that ride more, maybe park or even like dirt jumps and stuff like that.
Sure.
There's probably not great gear in those spaces because just because nobody's really paying attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to me, I mean, we're working with a couple of really cool riders on like that, like I'll call it slope style, dirt jump,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, right? And honestly, they like to wear pants and they
Yeah.
like to wear t-shirts and they like to wear gloves, right? So a lot of them want to wear jeans, and that's fine. But you know, David Lieb is one of our guys, and he runs the Scout pants all the time and t-shirts and gloves. He loves it, you know. So it's like, I think it's just dirt, two wheels is who we want to be.
You also do a lot of like little accessory kind of gears. I mean, you have a bunch of water bottles up behind you, and I mean, do you see? Is that stuff more just for fun, kind of added merch, or is there any kind of development?
Whether it's a little fender here or there, you know, we work with Specialized on their bottles. We work with Bella Customs on their fenders. You know, we work with those just for fun, honestly, just to kind of add to our small batch. So they're just fun.
Yeah. Are you where you thought you would be when you started in 2017, or are you further along? Or are you less further along?
I never imagined it to be a full brand. So no, thrilled with where it's at, quite honestly.
That's awesome.
No complaints. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what was the full-time gig before you were Tasco? You said that this was like originally your side gig.
It's funny, like I'm kind of embarrassed of it. I don't know why, but so for like 22 years, I was doing corporate sales, and it was with a company. The last job was with a company called Agilent. We were selling chemical analysis, like instruments. So we'd sell into biotech companies or clinical labs or whatever it is. Basically, if, you know, you wanted to see what's in somebody's urine, or if you wanted to see what's in a pharmaceutical drug, or, you know, whatever it is, that's what we would sell. So I was a rep doing that, and super good job. Great career, but just got to a point where it wasn't very exciting, and it wasn't a passion at all. And you know, the idea of building something got kind of exciting. So
no, that's awesome, man. So it really was like not any other than sales. There wasn't really any crossover kind of experience that you had.
Like running a company like this, I have zero business doing it. Let's just say that, you know.
Yeah. I have a buddy that runs a business, and he always says that he doesn't know anybody else that's still in business that's as bad at business as he is.
Yeah. He's the last survivor of the bad guys, right?
Yeah, but he's doing well. But he's just like, it's such a funny thing. He's like, yeah, there is nobody as bad as me. That's still in business, man.
I feel like it's been a crash course MBA class, you know, in several years. It's just, it's cool though. I'm thankful it's still upright.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to old you if you were telling Nate when he was starting, like, what this is what you should really do, dude.
Stay with your old job.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if people say, well, like, what got you into this? It's the stupidity, you know, like, or there's naivety about how much goes into to doing it. But no, what would I give myself advice? Man, I would honestly, like, it might sound kind of funny, but I'd say work on your work-life balance. Yeah. Because that's been the hardest thing. And I'm thankful my family, my wife, my three kids have been so supportive. But goodness, is like, it's been a lot of, like, I'm checked out at nights a lot of times because I'm thinking about stuff. And just, you know, as soon as you become your own boss and you start running your own thing, you know, vacations are, you know, you think that, oh, I can run my own schedule. No, you can't. Like, it's tough to get away. So
you're always on.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's probably one thing that I would definitely, and just and just try to enjoy the process too, and the journey. It's, you get so hung up on trying to hit a certain number or try to, beat out a certain competitor or whatever it is, right? That you kind of lose out. And I still do that. Like, I need to preach that to myself today. Like, just enjoy where you're at today and be thankful for where it's at. So
I'm a super driven person in the way that you were saying too, where you're like, you get all in on things, and I can understand where you're coming from there, because I can't tell you how many times in my life that I've realized that I totally have like essentially blown off my family.
Yeah.
Because I'm so stuck in whatever like I'm doing, I hyper focus on things, and I can imagine, running my own business, I would do the exact same thing. And sometimes you got to get slapped in the face before you realize that you're doing it wrong. I know you had some health stuff that came up like not too long ago. That maybe something that made you really recognize it, or?
Yeah. I did. What was it? Back in October of 2020, I had a heart attack. I was out riding my bike one Sunday afternoon, and just everything went kind of sideways on that ride. Thankful for where it's at today. I don't seem to have anything going on, and but I wish it had lasted longer. The effect of having that. In the sense of like
short-lived,
sobering me up to like, hey, because after that, like, I took a family vacation, and we spent 2 weeks together as a family, which I hadn't done in a long time, and I just really like honed me in on the importance of your family, your life that you're living, and not the dollar, right? And so I did go through a little bit of that scary time, but unfortunately, like those memories fade. It's kind of like childbirth. You have another one, right? And you end up like, I'm embarrassed to go back to the cardiologist now for my appointments, because, he asks about my stress, and he asks about my diet and my exercise, and they're all worse than they've ever been. Right. So, it's a challenge to try to, remember that and try to balance things out a little bit better. But
what was that like when that happened? You're just riding, and all of a sudden, like, you just, fell over and crashed, or like, how did that, like, do you mind sharing?
Yeah, no, for sure. Robert, I was doing a ride that I've done hundreds of times. It was a local trail here. And I was just out on the Sunday afternoon trying to burn some calories, quite honestly. So I said, in my mind, I was going to do 3 laps up and down the local hill here. And I did the first one. And when I was coming down that first one, I was like bouncing off every rock completely wrong. I just felt completely like a mess. And I was kind of frustrated at myself, but I didn't feel quite right. And then on the second climb, I'm climbing up, and again, I've done this climb a million times, and I know my fitness enough to know I wasn't in great shape at the time, but I hit this one little punchy climb, and I just have never walked it probably in my life. And I got off, and I'm pushing my bike up it, and I'm just like, I was honestly really upset at myself. Like, you're in a bad spot. You gotta fix this, And halfway up the climb, like, I had my head on my handlebars, like hanging over it, just thinking, man, this is beyond terrible. Got to the top and kind of recovered a little bit and finished that climb out. Got to the top, did a little descent, and then I saw this is the squirrel side in me. I saw this little offshoot trail that I hadn't seen before. So I said, I'm going to go see where that goes. So I go, and it turns into a climb back up to where I'd been, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on this little goat trail, hit this point, had another one of those episodes where I just went, whoa, and I head over my handlebars. Next thing I know, I'm like sitting on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, and I just knew something wasn't right. And I called my wife, and I said, Megan, just to let you know, like, something's the matter with me right now. I don't know what it is, but I want you to keep an eye on my phone, And she says, well, get off the phone and call 911. Right. So by this point, I'm laying down on the trail, and and it was that feeling, honestly, of like, you push it to the top of a climb, and you feel like, oh, I might faint kind of thing for a couple of seconds. And then
100%.
and then you get through that. Right. And so, but I had gotten to that point and I just wasn't ever coming back down off of that.
It wasn't recovering. Right.
Right. I wasn't getting that recovery feel. And so by this point I'm laying down, exposed in the sun right there. Couldn't even hardly hold the cell phone in my hand. So I put it on my chest, like with the speaker on me. And I'm just talking to the emergency people, trying to help them find me. It was really, really hard. Like, they couldn't find me because I was on this little goat trail off the back 40, and they're asking me trying to get coordinates and all this stuff, and it wasn't working. So anyway, I finally got to a point. It was probably 20 minutes on the phone with them, and wasn't getting anywhere. I got to the point where I started feeling a little bit better. I drank some water, and then I got up and I started kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get myself out of here. So I start pushing my bike out. And my wife comes running around the corner in her flip-flops, white as a ghost. Like because she'd been tracking me on my phone, right? And so she helped me get back up to the car. And by that point, the ambulance was coming up, had pulled up to that spot there, or not the ambulance, but the fire truck. And so they did a quick test on me. Basically said I was dehydrated. I needed some Gatorade. I needed to go back and, take that. So we left. We said no thanks to the ambulance. My wife was there. We figured it out. And so she stops, gets me Gatorade. I go home. I'm laying on the ground and I go, something's just not right. I've been riding my bike for a lot of years and I know my body better than this. And this is not right. So I had her look up heart attack symptoms because I'd been feeling some like just numbness going down the left side, which is a known issue, right? And so she looked it up and it was like checking the boxes off, like click, 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 all the things that soreness in the jaw, like aching jaw, all these things. And so she says, we need to get to the hospital. So anyway, as soon as they heard it at the hospital, they whipped me in there. And long story short, I was there for 2 days. Went through all the tests and exploratory things and everything. They released me with just medication. Honestly, there was no blockages in the arteries. Wow. It was what was called a non-STEMI heart attack, which means it was, I don't know. My best guess is that something had clogged and then released, and it wasn't in there by the time I got to the ER. But just thankful, super grateful that it's been almost 2 years and I haven't had any recurring symptoms. But anyway, that's the long of it.
No, that's crazy. Thank you for sharing. I mean, that was definitely sounds like, wow, dude, that's just like, I can't even imagine the emotion of that experience, and I always get kind of in that I have I get anxiety about something like that happening to me whenever I'm out. And that like the story that you were telling is like the fear that I have, like of me being out somewhere and not being able to get any kind of help. And I'm glad to hear that you're okay and that you made it through that,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely puts a perspective on things, I would say.
Right.
Like to me, I mean, I'm a God-fearing man, right? And so it makes me realize, like, you know what? It's not in my time, it's his time, so it was kind of good for that. But also just like putting like, we were talking about the work-life balance and family and all that kind of stuff in perspective. It gives you that, like, I gotta redeem the time a little bit better, like make use of it a little bit more. So
we're not in our 20s anymore either. I know when I was in my 20s, I didn't really ever think about dying, and at the age that we're at now, I'm sure other people that are in their 40s can relate. You probably had some friends that have passed away, whether it's been from health or just accidents or whatever. And it really starts making you realize like how short your time is here. And then it really like, will make you consider like, did I do all the right things that I want to do before I'm done?
What was my day like today? What did I do? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you're still around, man. It would have been a bummer to
Oh man, thank
find
you.
out otherwise, dude. That would have.
Well, I am too. So yeah, for things like this.
Right? Exactly. So
You're gonna make me cry, dude.
Oh, dude, it's all right, man. That's awesome, though. I finally made it to Oprah status. I got somebody cheering up on the interview. Now I'm gonna go for the throne on all the rest of them now.
No. Hey, so can I share with you what like has been geeking me out lately?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Like what's been and I don't see a brand coming out of this, but it's just a pure hobby. Like so about 8 months ago, my son and I got stand-up jet skis. Those old school, stand-up things.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's funny because that's just consumed me for the last 8 months. And I do it. I did it this morning before coming into work. We go out in the surf locally here out of Oceanside and go rip around and just it's like moto surfing, right? And,
right.
And it's such a throwback thing that nobody does anymore. And I've just gotten that like right hooked in there. It's such a random thing that's fun and out of the ordinary. And anyway, that's just kind of it's a fun thing to share that like that sport's still alive and it's super fun, right?
Yeah, man. It's good to get out of your zone too sometimes. You know what I mean? Like out of your lane and get into something else. And I'm sure it feels good to be able to focus on something that's not mountain bikes,
Yeah, you know what? Part of it probably is that, right? Just that like it's not work related at all. I do wear actually it's funny, the whole crew wears Tasco gloves out there now.
Right.
Because I we've just like oh you're Tasco, and most of those guys ride mountain bikes and dirt bikes as well, right? So but it's just funny how it's not like this work feel. I'm not doing it because of work. I'm doing it because it's like just a new fun thing to do. So
maybe we'll see a Tasco water related glove, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. All we have to do is change the little MTB to WTR or something like that, right?
Right. One of my buddies always tells me, don't go take something you like doing for fun and turn it into a job, man.
That's what I did. Yeah. I joke with people like I started a company out of stupidity, right? Or out of randomness, but because it was in my passion. And now I don't do that anymore near as much. I don't, it's just not near. I don't find the time to go do that passion anymore. So you do. It's definitely a real deal, I would say.
Yeah. It's easy to do because everything, like, at least when you first start, it's super easy to get like, to have a lot of passion for it, and then it takes a while for you to actually realize like, holy shit, like I'm putting a lot of time into this,
Yeah. I know my wife sees my Instagram, like they're sitting on their couch. She just sees like me scrolling through and it's bike. She said to me one time, don't you ever get sick of that? Yeah, maybe I do. I should be honest.
Yeah. I think what I do is I fall in these like little subcategories of things that I get stuck on for a while. Like when I first bought the Cricut, I originally bought it so that I could design stickers and then like get those designs to the guy that does them from actually stickered.
Richard.
Yeah. But like what would happen was like the same thing I was talking about with the shirts. Like I would design something, then he'd print it. I'd have it in my hand. And I'd be like, I don't like it. Like it gave me, it was like, okay, well here I can do something. And that, and I'm also like, there's like still that like punk teenage kid in me. So, one of the things that I did was make stickers that say employees must ride bikes, but they're like the same size as the ones that say employees should wash hands. And that way, when I go to like the restroom, I can switch the stickers for them.
So good. That's a full Richard move right there, though.
Yeah. So apparently I got a little Richard in me too. But then it turned into the t-shirt thing. And then the latest for me is I bought a 3D printer.
Nice.
And oh God, dude, that you want to talk about a rabbit hole that you can get into.
Yeah.
I originally bought it because what was it? When I very, very first thought of buying one, it was like I wanted to make a mount for a GoPro that I could put on my like chainstay.
Yeah.
And then later what I've actually been working on is I want to make a GoPro chesty kind of mount that is actually works well for mountain bikes. Because I feel like what is out there is like made for action sports and not made for mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
And I want one that's made for mountain biking. And to go through the process of learning, first you have to learn how to like do 3D modeling. Then you have to learn how to print. And then you got to learn how to like actually design something. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's like so many things that I've learned, like, oh, now I know what like a 3mm bevel looks on the corner of something. And I'm like, nah, that needs a 6, like, it's like just this like stupid shit. But I think those are the things that really like keep me going. And I think it's, I just really like learning and I like creating. And so I keep finding like little things that do that for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
no, that's cool. That's super cool. That's something I've never gotten into, and I don't ever want to, honestly.
Oh man, it's horrible.
I'll message you when I need something done.
The worst part is like once you start looking at stuff that way, you stop wanting to buy things, and you start like turning your life into, oh, I can make that. And I can see myself quickly making something fun a job.
Yeah. So are you able to is there just like websites or forums or whatever where you can just go like, hey, I want to build, I don't know, a kickstand for a bike or whatever it is, and you go find some, can you just go find templates for that? Are those out
there? You can find one that somebody probably has already designed and just print it. You could do that 100%. Or you could like do it yourself, or they're like, the thing is like just like, I feel like I'm like a natural born inventor, because I'm always like, I've always been a person that's coming up with ideas, but doesn't have the means to be able to make them. So let's say I have, those big mechanics kind of tool chests that have the slide out, like a snap-on kind of slide out drawer kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have one of those up in my office, right? And it's just for like, it's holding like stickers and like all video content creation kind of, it's basically like a dresser. I have it so that it just looks like a cool piece of furniture, right?
Sure.
And on top of it, I have like my Cricut and my 3D printer and a light, and I'm always like going over this kind of like a little workbench, right? So I wanted to put a power strip on the back of it. So, then I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to screw it into this thing. I just want some magnets so I can just stick it on there. So now then you go down this rabbit hole of like, okay, well, I can design a bracket that I just print the magnet into and then clicks it on there. And now it's holding it on. And now I have brackets that hold my 3.5 foot power strip on the back of my rolly thing. So
that's pretty cool though.
And some of it's stupid. Like one day I was designing, I bought a little Ring camera, like this one that's behind me over there. I bought one of those so I could look at my prints whenever I wasn't around. Because sometimes these prints take like 6 hours to print, right?
Yeah.
And if it's messing up in the middle of it, you want to stop it or whatever. Sometimes I'll have like a break put in, like for that thing I was just telling you about. Like you'll tell it to print like 30% of it, and then you'll maybe have a hole in there that you can drop a magnet in. So you tell it to stop when it's at 30%, drop the magnet in, tell it to go again, and then it prints over top of it. Now there's a magnet inside of the plastic. So I got this little camera, and I wanted to be able to just go like know when it stopped, and the camera was kind of sitting lower than the print bed, right? So I wanted something to just make the camera like 4 inches taller. So instead of just putting a couple of books in there, what do? I go and I like engineer a little thing to like a little stand to put the thing on. And then while I'm doing that, because I'm creative, I'm like, well, that'd be funny if they were shoes. And then I was like, well, I should make a hat. So now my Ring camera has like a baseball hat and funny shoes.
Yeah.
But really just because I wanted to raise it up 3 inches, you know?
Right.
But
no, where does it end, right?
Right, exactly. So this is the way it goes.
So good.
So anyways, man. Well, dude, we're like wrapping 2 hours as usual. It is
That was
always
fast.
Yeah, dude. It's easy to have a good conversation with good people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man. I'm so stoked that you had the time to be able to sit down with me today and we could catch up. I always ask people at the end of the shows if they like what YouTube channels they like to watch, whether it has anything to do with biking or not. What are you watching lately?
Dude, it's jet ski stuff lately for me,
Is it
right?
all jet ski stuff?
Well, it's funny because everybody gets like when you get into a new hobby, the first thing you do is go search out all the. So I get, I mean, and the jet ski environment is really, really small. So I've canvassed it all pretty good, right? So, but it's interesting you say that because like one of the guys that I like, it's called Risky, and they're mountain bikers and jet skiers up in Oregon, right? But they're all into 3D printing stuff, which is super fun. So like I'm listening to this and like relaying it over to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably spend way too much time doing that. I watch a lot of surf competitions too, just around the world on YouTube. And then on a mountain bike side, it's funny, like I don't watch that many anymore.
Yeah.
I used to a bit more, but I just don't watch too much bike YouTube right now. So I don't know, just where you're at in life, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. When I ask that, I'm not like looking for people to tell me what like mountain bike content. Like, I just like to hear what people are into. The one that I always try to bring, like to give a good example, is like when I asked Josh, daily MTB rider, and he had told me about this channel. It's called Cart Narcs, and it's this guy that just basically gives people a hard time for not putting their carts back in the rack.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it's freaking hilarious, man. People just lose their shit on him. And he's, but like it's little finds like that though. I mean, sometimes though you find, somebody tells you a channel or something that you never thought you'd watch, and next thing you know,
it's so funny. I'm pretty boring. So like if you scroll through like my suggested feeds, or as I'm rolling down, it's jet ski, it's surf, it's moto. I watch because I watch a lot of moto replays and stuff like that. I love it. And then I mean certainly mountain bike stuff pops up and I watch it. I watch MTB Allen and Segment and the guys that we work with quite a bit. But and then comedy stuff pops in there too. You get with that, and then anything social that you're against, that's going to pop up, right? It's so funny how like polarizing all that social media stuff is on political reasons right now. It's so frustrating. So
I feel like I just confused the shit out of the algorithm because
exactly.
They're like, wait a minute, we thought we had this guy pegged, and now he's looking up, watching this chick make t-shirts.
Where does that come from, right?
right. And then just throw in like a Rubik's Cube video here and there, and you're like, oh my god.
Ping pong championships or something.
Yeah.
What about you, Robert? What do you find
lately? Let me think. What if I was to pull it up right now? You would probably have some 3D printing stuff that I've been watching, a lot of things like that. At the beginning of COVID, I taught myself how to do a Rubik's Cube, and then a while later, I realized that I forgot how to do it. So the last month or so, I've been reteaching myself that. So I'm at a point right now where I've got it down under 2 minutes again, but I want to learn some of these there's some other like. Because really all the Rubik's Cube is like learning patterns of steps that you have to take.
Right.
It's not really like you just like, it's not anything like I ever thought it was when I was a kid. And I was like, I don't know how the hell they do that. It looks amazing. But it's really just like you have to remember these steps, and once you get to a certain speed, there's like more complicated steps that you can do to be able to do it faster. And I'd really like to be like, the guys that do that, like the world record is like 5 seconds or some shit like that.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like they're like, you can look it up, and they're like looking at it on the ground, and they like pick it up and just and put it down, and they're done. So I don't want to get there, but it's definitely, I like that because it's like it's fun to like challenge my brain. But anyway, so that's some of the stuff in my feed. I always watch the Hot Ones interviews. I think they're really good.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Yep.
And then I, obviously some cricket stuff or something. Who knows? Yeah, it's always I definitely am probably like confusing the hell out of it.
How to string a guitar. That's been popping up lately because I tried to figure that out on our guitar, and now that's everywhere in my feed, right?
Oh yeah. You just learned how to play or something?
No, we were just restringing the guitar, so I was like working with my daughters on doing that, and so we were watching YouTube videos on it. And now it's like flooded with it, right?
Yeah, I used to play guitar a lot when I was younger, and it's actually why I moved to California. I thought I was going to be a rock star. Nice. And I was playing. I grabbed this guy's guitar when I was in Jamaica, and I was playing some guitar with him, and it made me realize how much I've forgotten.
Yeah,
and I kind of feel like that might be one of the next few things that I
regurgitate. Yeah.
It's fun.
So real quick, I don't know how long we can keep people here, but Jamaica.
Yeah.
Did you go to Dunn's River Falls?
Not this time, but I've done that before.
Because when you sent me that, I sent you that Hans Ray video, right?
Yeah.
Do you? So like that is so vivid in my childhood memory of watching that, whatever that video was, and it was cool. Like I found it on YouTube again, right? But that Hans Ray, like bunny hopping and track standing and doing the whole thing, climbing Dunn's River Falls on his GT.
That guy's amazing, right?
Trials back in the day. No,
especially back then.
That was so cool. So anyway.
Yeah, that's rad. First of all, that's super rad. And honestly, like I can't even imagine how you accomplish that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And but to kind of pull it into the biking, I've gone to Jamaica. That was my third time I've been there. And every time I've gone, or the two times before, I just really was always thinking, man, this would be really fun to ride here. Yeah. So there's a company down there called Single Track Jamaica, and they do an event once a year they call the Fat Tire Festival, which is basically like a mountain bike festival.
Right.
And because I knew of them, I really wanted to get a ride in, and they do some tours. So I spent a ridiculous amount of money to make it work because we were staying on the other side of the island from them, and everything in Jamaica is like, dude, the prices for taxis there are just ludicrous. Like I'm just going to leave it at that. And, but I ended up making it happen, and I got to ride bikes there, and it was phenomenal. Like the riding was not phenomenal, but being in a place like riding your mountain bike through a freaking jungle was like,
you're riding your insane. How many of us can say you went on a mountain bike ride in Jamaica, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. So it was definitely worth it that's one of those things like where we were talking about earlier, where in my later years where I've realized like, dude, you need to do some things that don't maybe make financial sense.
Right.
But it's just to like, hey, you lived your life a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, dude,
that's cool. Welcome home.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man. I really, really, truly appreciate you being on here. Like I said, I always enjoy talking with you, and it was a good time once again, right?
Well, man, I appreciate you too, Robert. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody out there that hasn't been to Tasco's website, it's Tasco, TASCO-MTB.com. So if you search Tasco, it'll be on there, but it'll be also some binoculars. So, so Tasco MTB, go check him out. Check out his gear. I guarantee you'll be happy with what you purchase. It's definitely everything I've used from Nate has been great, and I really really appreciate all the support that you've given me over the years, like giving me some of your products to try out and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. If you guys can do him that favor, swing by there. If you want to help me out, hit the thumbs up if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you listen to the podcast and you haven't written a 5-star review, you should go do that on like the Apple review site, because that makes me happy. And I haven't seen a new one pop up in a while. So there's what, 3,000 people on this channel. There's God knows what, 5,000 or 6,000 downloads a month on the podcast. One of you out there can write me a new review. That would be rad if I could get on there next week and see that. So please do. Otherwise, if you want something for free, swing by my Instagram or my Facebook at BikerB1. Give that a little follow, and you get to see some other stuff of what's going on. If you don't want to do any of that, I totally get it, man. Just remember one thing: it only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.